Our first question today, what happens if you fail the CLEP exams? Can you retake it once, twice, 3 times? Well, the easy answer, you're screwed. No, that is not the case. This is a really good question, a great way to start off our next Q&A episode. Today, I've got Dr. Lauren Daly, one of our College Hacked advisors who's here and part of the team. You've probably seen her in some other videos. And today, guys, we're going to go through and answer a ton of your questions. So if you have other questions, want them to appear in a future episode, or maybe I'll just go and answer comments myself and you'll hear from me, hit those questions down below, and we're excited to help you out. So this first question, what happens if you fail the CLEP exams? You can retake them. You just have to wait 3 months to be able to do it. So there's not a lot of pressure. And if you're using Modern States to get your CLEP test paid for you, you can basically fail your first one, and then you still have to pay for the second one. Modern States won't pay for the second one, but you're just basically right off where everybody else was, except you're only taking the CLEP test twice. Lauren, University of the People, what do you think about it? And would you even bother with a school that is only nationally accredited?
Yeah, so it's definitely cool that the school is free for the most part. There's some, fees and things in there, but it's one of the less expensive options. The downside, as this person definitely mentioned, is that it's only nationally accredited. So when we look at schools, it's definitely the best idea to go for a school that's both regionally and nationally accredited. So I would say that for that reason, there are just better options. Not that it's a bad option, but there's probably better options.
Yeah, there definitely are better options at University of People at this time. They are trying to become regionally accredited at some point. But even then, guys, you can still graduate from UMPI faster and cheaper if you know how to do it right. Something that we can help out with. If you want to sign up for a consultation, link in the description. Always good to put in a plug. But nationally accredited, what's the difference between like nationally and regionally accredited?
Yeah, so regionally accredited is considered to be the most prestigious accreditation that you can have because it's a smaller body and it's done geographically. National is kind of like, hey, you're in the club, you meet these wider standards so you can be in our accreditation club.
Yeah, and the reason to go for regionally accredited is especially like if you want to get a master's degree or if you want to have assurance that your degree is actually reliable and legitimate. A lot of times for-profits are not able to get regionally accredited because their academic standards are so low, and so they tend to just end up being nationally accredited.
Another reason we always push you towards nonprofit schools.
Yes, nonprofits, really good schools.
Yeah.
Typically. Not all, but typically.
That's what we're here for, to distinguish for you.
Yeah, we will help guide you to make sure that you do not pick a bad school.
Yes.
Michael, we wanted to celebrate with Michael. He knocked out 27 Sophia credits in 10 days.
Phenomenal.
You can see the list of all of them here. I see a lot on this list that do not have touchstones, which means you're not writing essays or filming projects or anything like that. It's just mostly open book tests. And so he picked some really good ones to knock this out with. Obviously, he's a math guy, which I know not everybody is. But don't underestimate your ability to knock out a Sophia math course. They're not super scary, guys. I promise. Next up, we've got this question from Namora Michelle 9960. If I am currently enrolled at a community college, how do I go about getting my bachelor's with CLEP classes? Thanks. That's a really, really wide open question.
It is indeed, and I see your eyes looking at me for a wide open answer.
If you don't have one, I can try to come up with one, but...
Here's what I would say. It's pretty much going to look the same as if you go to any other school and CLEP. So every school has the ability to say, we accept these, CLEPs for these classes. And so you should go and check with your school, see if there's an equivalency guide, or ask your advisor what your school accepts if you can't find it on the website. And you should be able to just register for them just like you would at any other school, take the CLEPs, and then transfer them into your university.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I would add to that is just that you should see how your community college classes are going to transfer first before you just wildly start taking CLEPs, because you don't want to double up and take a CLEP that would come in as a class you already have.
Definitely true.
Brenda Rodriguez, what university do you recommend for school counseling or social worker? And then this is a two-parter. How is Grand Canyon University? Good old GCU. I remember back in the day when we were both teaching and working at Liberty, and Liberty was the world's largest Christian university for a long time. And then GCU comes along, and they got bigger. And we were laughing at our administrators the whole time because we're like, oh, now you can't call yourself the world's largest Christian university. Ha, ha, ha.
They were hurt about it.
Yeah, they were emotionally perturbed. They had to get rid of a lot of advertising and marketing.
They did.
That being said, Liberty University is actually the best school I know of for online social work degree.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Counseling, they have a good program as well. What's really cool to me about school counseling or any counseling in general is that you can actually get a bachelor's degree in any subject and then go into most programs, most master's degrees, and become a licensed counselor. So it used to be that you needed like 15 hours of psychology prefix courses and a GRE and all these different things. That was pretty standard for most programs in the US. And now you really don't see a lot of that anymore. So it is actually possible for you to do like a Chipotle degree or, liberal arts kind of thing and set yourself up well and take things like statistics or psychology courses to get ready for the master's, but then go right into that. So if you were going into it at the undergrad level, I think the Liberty program would probably be my number one recommendation too.
Yeah, no, they're really good. Any school, any degree, like you said, will get you into a counseling master's for the most part. But Liberty's online social work program, the difference between Liberty and Grand Canyon is that Liberty is nonprofit and Grand Canyon is for-profit. Other than that, I'm not seeing a huge difference, but for that reason, I do agree with you. And our next question here comes from KO29. Can you give us information about nursing degrees? Another excellent wide open question.
Yes, it is a wide open question.
Typically, if you want to get a nursing degree, you should plan to just get it in person. Because there's so many labs, there are so many like hands-on nursing classes. Usually there's some kind of a practicum or a residency or something like that where you're going in and working with sick people. The only program I know of that you can do a full nursing from 0 to BSN online is WGU, but that's not even fully online. But what they do have is they have like partnerships in many different states where the part that you have to do in person, they will work with a local hospital or another school to get you the classes and get you the experience that you need. So it's actually really cool.
It is really cool.
But it is more expensive than WGU normally is. So watch out for that. Echo Yvette TV. Sir, please, where can I do courses for graduate programs so I can transfer for my master's? And basically what I think Yvette is asking for is how can I hack a master's degree? Lauren, can you hack a master's degree?
Not the way you can hack a bachelor's degree. There are some things you can do sometimes at some schools to make it go a little faster. Like some schools will allow you to do portfolio credit or test out of certain courses if they have a system for that. Otherwise, you can transfer in classes to a master's degree, typically up to like 9 credit hours or something like that, which is usually 3 classes. So there's not a whole lot of room for transferring or hacking there, but there are some things you can do to make it go faster.
Yeah. And if you're looking to do it, competency-based programs like UMPI has a Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership. WGU has a bunch of competency-based master's courses. And you can knock out a WGU master's in 6 months, many of them. And then Liberty University will let you test out of some specific courses in both master's and doctorate level courses. We both tested out of about a quarter a quarter of our PhDs in higher ed administration. Don't tell the other professors that. But yeah, we did, and it was pretty sweet. Cersei Lannister 2722. Hello, Dr. Stemmy and Dr. Daly. What do you think about Sailor Academy? I understand it's free, but you have to pay $5 for the proctor, which I don't mind the amount. It's the idea of having someone watch over you. Yeah, proctoring is unnerving, right? And basically every means of college hacking is going to involve some proctoring, except for 2, right? So Sophia and UMPI don't have proctors, but WGU does, study.com, Straighterline, Sailor, and CLEP, and DSST for that matter. So if you're serious about hacking, you kind of do have to get used to it a little bit. And I'll tell you this, make whatever you hack first with a proctor, make it an easy thing so that you're not as stressed about the subject material and you have brain space to be stressed about the proctor. But, get used to it. Come to accept it, go through the 5 stages of grief, and then once you've done that, hopefully your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 20th time having a proctor, it'll just start to feel a little bit more natural.
Yep, like anything with practice, it's going to feel better. So just bite the bullet and do it. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, and because of that, Sailor Academy is a really, really great option. Basically, somebody made a bunch of college courses for free and then said, yeah, we'll subsidize the proctoring service. You only have to pay $5 just to kind of show you're serious. And then you can have college courses, and a lot of colleges accept these Sailor Academy courses, a lot of the ones that we talk about here on this channel. In fact, have a video up here about Sailor Academy. Do you know the easiest way to get language credits? It's my last degree requirement. I keep dropping online classes, which is rough because unless you're doing it right, that could be a pretty expensive drop. So hopefully you're not spending too much money on those drop courses and you're withdrawing soon enough. But Dr. Daly, what is the easiest way to get language credit?
Yeah, if you've ever met with me, I've probably asked you if you speak Spanish. And the reason for that is because there is a CLEP exam that most schools will accept up to 12 credits. Like you can earn up to 12 credits taking the Spanish CLEP. And what they do is it's all kind of the same exam. And depending on how well you do, it'll move you forward. And then if you get all the way through it and you pass all the sections, then you earn up to 12 credits. And then if you aren't really that great at Spanish and you only earn 3 credits, that's still 3 credits. But I think for me, at least, that's my number one recommendation for language credits. What would you say?
Yeah, I think that the Spanish CLEP is really, really good for people who already speak Spanish. In fact, it's the highest pass rate CLEP out of all of them, somewhere in the 90 percentile, because it's mostly people who speak Spanish already doing it. There's also a French CLEP and a German CLEP, and they now have Spanish 1 and 2 on Sophia, which have touchstones, like actual projects they have to go in and get graded, so it's going to take longer. It's a little bit annoying. If you know what you're doing, do the CLEP, like Dr. Daly, like Lauren said. But if you don't know what you're doing, then probably the Sophia Spanish 1 and 2 are going to be semi-easy for you. And a lot of people do get nervous, like, oh, foreign language, but Spanish 1 and 2, even at the college level, guys, is like basically what they expect an 8-year-old to be able to do. You can figure it out. Trust me.
Make some flashcards.
Hello, Lazizi. Lazizi says, I was contemplating in entering this school for its online classes and being able to hack my degree, as I can't afford to take another 4 years in college, but I'm unable to leave my country. Would love to go to WGU or even TSU, but I am not sure if it is as international friendly as it is for SNHU. What do you suggest? Thanks so much in advance if you're able to answer. Online schools, guys, and I think you would agree with this, generally love international students, partially because they can make more money off of you. Whether that's because they require you to take like an extra English class, or because they charge more for international students. Most of the online colleges we're talking about do not, but they generally like their international students. It also brings some diversity of thought to their classes. It can be really great. But the one school that will not help out international students is WGU. Other than that, TSU is great, LUO is great, SNHU is great. When I was a professor at UMPI, I had several Chinese students come through and even a couple German students. So those are all really good options to go to. Jim Spence, I'm surprised universities haven't sent a hitman for you. LOL. Great info. Thank you.
I'm also surprised about that, but then there's so many people I meet with in my sessions that don't remember your name that I'm pretty sure the hitman just got lost. So he's still looking for you.
The hitman forgot my name too. Yeah, I am not super worried about hitmen because, guys, let me talk to you about my dissertation, which is usually a lead into a very boring conversation. But if anybody will appreciate this, I think it's you guys. My dissertation, it's like the big research paper you write as a doctoral candidate, right? And in mine, what I found was that students who had CLEP'd, the more CLEP tests they had taken, the more likely they were to graduate on time or to graduate early. In particular, people who took history, English, and math CLEPs were significantly more likely than other students to actually graduate. And one thing that online colleges really, really like is making money. They want to be able to pay the bills, and they want to be able to, I don't know, what do they do with all that money?
Pay administrative people they don't need.
Pay administrative people they don't need. That's a big thing that they do. They like that money, right? And so one thing they like just as much, or maybe slightly less, but they still really like it, is good graduation rates, because that makes their school look good. And especially if we start having policies come through that where you have to have a certain graduation rate for your students to be able to get federal funding, which is how most of these colleges make their money. It's through people taking out student loans. Then they're really going to want their graduation rates to be higher. And because college hackers, people who take CLEPs, people who take Sophias, are so much more likely to graduate college than people who don't, they actually really like you guys. And while maybe they wish that in an ideal world you would spend 6 years or 8 years taking classes slowly and paying way too much, they are more than willing to accept. And I've even had schools reach out to me and be like, oh yeah, tell me more about the competition. Like, how are we doing? How are we matching up? They like you guys, and honestly, I think they like me too. And they like you, for that matter, they like you too.
They definitely like you.
They like us a lot. Do you have any videos, Sleepy Sounds 8340 says, about choosing a degree / a career change? I've been a stay-at-home mom since I was 19. All my kids are in school and I want to go to college. I'm thinking of UMPI or WGU. I just cannot for the life of me decide which degree I even want. This is a really good question for you because while Lauren is an amazing college hack advisor, she's just like also a like basically classically trained career advisor in general. So what do you think?
These are definitely some of my favorite questions to answer and to go through with you guys in sessions, because sometimes you're really motivated, but you don't have the end goal of what you're motivated to get to. So you have all this, you're all revved up, you have all this energy, but you don't know where to channel it. And so sometimes talking through these things in sessions is a great use of your time, where you can just get clear on what things you're good at, what people come to you for. So if people are always coming to you for advice about finances, maybe that's something you're really good at, and you should look into that more. So sometimes there's things that we can kind of work through together that you haven't even thought of. As a career changer myself, I went through the process of being totally geared up for a specific field and then realizing that I wanted to pivot. And one of the best things that I did, and this is the recommendation that I'll give you, is I made a really good LinkedIn account and I went and followed a bunch of people in industries that I was really interested in, and I just watched their content and I learned from them and I figured out what really resonated with me and what made me excited, and then I chased that, and now I'm really happy. So do that.
How many career pivots have you had so far?
Oh, there's been a few. So my long-term thing was I wanted to be a doctor, and then I wanted to work in medical education after I decided not to be a doctor. Then I did that for a while, and people were kind of mean, and so then I decided, I'd rather just help people further their lives, and this happened to come about at the same time. So yeah, now I do advising and teach online and basically help people in higher ed capacities.
Guys, she's not even listing all of them. I think you've probably had like 6 different careers you were trying to get into at one point or another.
I think I have, yeah. Which only just makes me an expert at how to do that.
She's so good at pivoting, guys. And it's the same way. Like a lot of people think that switching careers is a bad thing, or even not being able to make your mind up is a bad thing. Obviously, you want to make your mind up, but how many times do people switch their careers on average these days? Like
at
20?
Least 5.
Oh, at least 5. That's
at
what
least
it was.
5.
Yeah, like 5, at least 5 serious career changes, and they're going to have had at least, I think it literally was something
20.
like 20 jobs by the time they retire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, welcome to the club. Zim's Garage, WGU or UMPI? I have 95 credit hours right now, but still need some general classes before taking major classes.
Whoa.
So there is actually a video out about that right now. And what I would say is, as long as you're cool with a general business degree, having 95 credit hours makes UMPI the much better fit, because WGU is a lot harder to transfer to unless a lot of those 95 credit hours are in business specifically. UMPI, you'll probably graduate quicker and faster and with less headache. Yeah,
if you've watched a lot of our videos so far, you know that one of our favorite things is degrees with big free elective sections. And WGU's problem is they don't really have any free electives in their degrees. So as great as they are for getting you done, fast and quick, if you don't have any transfer credit, if you have that many credits, it's really worth looking into UMPI.
Living Hoover, just as I see it everywhere, lots of ads, right? One of these big kind of predatory schools. What are your thoughts on Walden University? And I think I've kind of already given it away. I'm just going to confirm here that they are for-profit, and their graduation rate is 28%, which is not great. It's pretty good for a for-profit online school, but that is bad. And so you're less likely to graduate. If trends hold true, they are going to be more expensive. And of course, you go to their website and
you can't find the credit hour rate anywhere.
Find how much it costs.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look. Don't go to Walden University,
Don't
guys.
go to Walden.
Don't do it. All right, Reptilian X Hologram. Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
If you could only choose 2 out of the 7 best study resources for the CLEP exams, which 2 would you choose? I would say Modern States. Yep.
It's like I've listened to it before.
Do you know what the second one would be?
Actually, I don't.
Okay, Peterson's practice CLEP tests.
Okay.
Modern States is free. They're basically full Sophia level courses on every single CLEP test out there. And if you pass their final exams in the Modern States system, they'll pay for your CLEP test. So basically, you can do the whole thing for free. But I really like Peterson's. I would if I was doing this again, I would hands down pay the $50 a month, because they have 3 practice tests that are really hard for every single CLEP test. And if you can pass one of those with a 70%, I would literally bet money on you being able to pass the actual CLEP. That's not me guaranteeing it, but those would be odds I would really like. So
I feel like we need a disclaimer in the corner after that one.
And for our last question today, we're going to go to Will Main 6439. And he asks us a question. Can you build a college plan for high school students? And we used to work so much with high school students and really early college students on building college plans. Now, that was just with one university. And since then, we've both met with, 16-year-olds. I think I met with like a 14-year-old at one point. I've helped people put together plans for their high school students, but I know you've done the same. So, Lauren, what do you think? Can can one build a college plan for a high school student?
Well, first of all, I'm holding open auditions now for my first 14-year-old at College Hack because Cliff's already had one. So where are my 14-year-olds? I need to help you. Yeah, we can definitely build a college plan for a high school student. It's just going to look a little bit different than what we would traditionally do for someone who's ready to start courses. I think a lot more of that plan would be about having good study skills and knowing where to locate information online and how to figure out what's true and kind of those skills that you don't necessarily learn in high school that really benefit you when it comes to higher education. But we could put together, start talking about what majors you're interested in, what direction you think you might want to go, and what college. I mean, if you already know what college and major, then we can definitely start building a plan. But yeah, I think it's worth it for high school students more in the sense of getting clear on goals and direction, even than a ironclad class by class plan. What would you say?
I 100% agree with you. I think there's a little bit more planning that has to go on because a lot of high school students don't necessarily know what the end goal is, and so we tend to prioritize planning backwards with them and helping to make sure that they're going in a good direction. That being said, no one's holding you to it and saying like, all right, you just said you wanted to be an engineer and go to this college, so that's what you have to do. We like to talk it through and give tips for building that goal. The other thing I'll say is that when I've met with people who are in high school still doing this, actually how I started, College Hack used to be called like My College or something like that, or My College Consultations, and I would actually go to homeschool co-ops, and I would set up a seminar, and all the moms and their high schoolers would show up, and sometimes dads too, and I would basically lay out, okay guys, if you want to only have a year left of college after you finish high school, like over the course of high school, let's finish 3 years of your degree, then here's how to do it. And I would actually show like which CLEPs equaled which high school courses. And the basic idea was that they would spend, a semester of high school in 7 different classes, let's say. And then we would say, okay, the month after, you're going to do a little bit more studying after your final exams, and then you're going to be able to pass the CLEP test for each of these. And then, after the fall semester, we're going to do this over Christmas break. After the spring semester, we're going to do this over summer break. And there are a lot of ways to sort of double dip the information because a lot of what CLEP tests cover is review of high school anyway. And so you can be so efficient. That's basically what I did for my degree, where I took 25 CLEPs and DSSTs and then graduated high school a year after college. And if anybody is interested in that, including you, Will, Maine 6439, we'd love to help you with it. But that is the end of our Q&A for today. Thank you, Dr. Daly, for taking time from your busy consultations that you're doing to be here. Guys, thanks for your responses, for your questions. We would love to answer any other questions that you have. And if you are ready to sign up for a consultation with our team, please do so. We'd love to start making it our personal goal because right now, when you're watching videos and all of this, it's your responsibility, your goal to get you graduated and use our advice. When you sign up for a consultation, all of a sudden it's also our job to help you get to those goals. And we literally enjoy that so much. It's one of the most fun things that we do in a given week. So link in the description. Thanks for watching and happy hacking.